Welcome back to Cross Rifle Outdoors. Today we're going to be making a target stand. So we're going to need an 8-foot chunk of 1.5 by 1.5, an 8-foot 2x4. Now this 2 foot by 2 feet piece of 3/4 inch plywood I saved from the dumpster at work. So that's why we're going to be using it. We can use OSB. There's several different types that we can use, but even if you shoot the middle out of this, you can go ahead and just still be able to staple your target to it. As long as you're not shooting your main supports, this target's going to work great. I like using these little corner brackets for mine. So let's pull some measurements and then I'll start cutting. We're going to start off, I'm going to have it being 3 feet high to the top. That'll be about perfect for what I'm using it for. So let's go ahead and get these marked, and I'll do a fast forward of me cutting all of the dimensions that we need, and then we'll get into the general assembly. Okay, so I would recommend a 12-foot chunk. I had to cut this piece off of something I had already had from another project that has been shot up. So you might be thinking this is a really short stand, that I should make it taller. So this target is for me to confirm my zero from the prone position, help me line up easier onto the target itself. So you can make it whatever height you want and just adjust your lumber accordingly to whatever you're making. So let's go ahead and let's start assembling our target. So we'll take our long board and get it lined up here. Remember, this does not have to be perfect by any means. We're just going to go out and shoot it. Screw in to hold it. Then flip it over. As you see, we've already got a great start. Then we have our two pieces that are cut at 21 1/4, if I remember right. We're going to go ahead, and you might have to do some trimming. That one needs just a slight little trim. And so does this one. So we're going to take about 1/8 of an inch off and continue on. Alright, our pieces now have a nice good fit. So we're going to go ahead and slap them in. Get them sitting flush. Now we do have slight warp to this bore. Typical Home Depot. Love to see the trees that they get their lumber from. Hopefully we'll be able to get this warp sucked in. There it goes. Let's give it another screw in case it decides it wants to try and pop. So now flip it over and get our last board in. Might need to take a little off this one still. Take a sliver off real quick. There we go. Now we've got it. Then we'll lay it flat. Now remember, you don't have to use these. I just do it to kind of help it absorb the impacts a little bit better. You know, since the screws that come with them just suck, we'll use regular screws. That'll hold it real well. Now this board that I had on hand must be a slightly different dimension. Because it's creating a lip. We're just screwing in and forcing the L bracket to make the bend with it. Right here must be where we had that warp. Well, on these little screws, you never know when they're going to come in handy. Alright, so now we've got our target holder built. Let's go ahead and get started on the base. Alright, let's go over the base. So we cut these two at 2.5 feet, give us a little extra wiggle room. Could have cut them a little longer, but that's alright. These other two we cut at 27.25. Now this is some scrap that I had. I like adding this into the middle so that way it helps keep the legs separated when it's all together, and when you're pulling your target in and out, it still has a tight enough fit to keep your target in there when the wind keeps going. What I've done is I've measured 6.25 inches from each side on this piece, and I'm just going to put one screw through it to hold it in place while we flip it over and screw it in. So now we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and line up our two blocks. This works a whole lot better on a flat surface, but the garage is messy and I don't want you to see it that way yet. Okay, we got it started. Let's make sure we're lined up again. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be square. All it needs to do is hold whatever target you're attaching to it. Alright, so we got our first screw in. Let's straighten out the top. Flip it over, lock it in on this side. And that screw did not want to cooperate. So now that we've got our base done, I've gone ahead and marked these. I'm going to have it to where at the front of the target there's a foot, and then about a foot behind it. Way off. Add 2 more screws on this side. We'll be done. Alright folks, there we have it. It's as simple as that. Way easier than I made it look. I'm definitely not the world's best craftsman. I mean, take a look at what we're working with right here, but go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. I'll catch you on the next one.